All right, we've hit the midpoint of summer, roughly, and I happen to have kind of a fluke day off work. There was a power outage this morning, so a little more free time on my hands than I thought. I've been doing some plant projects and figured it was a good time to show off my updates. So these are some jade plants that my girlfriend's family gave me to be working on saving. And so I did some pruning, separated them. They were actually together. I'll show you more of them in a minute, but this was one. And new branches, new leaves starting to come out here, so looking pretty healthy. This is a smaller cutting that I'm gonna try to grow in a more natural way and not be pulling the stems for like visible trunks. I'm gonna see if that makes a big difference in like how the plant decides to grow. Here is a look at my first of two more bonsai style jade growings, I guess. And this one's got two small leaves at the top. I let the stem here grow and took off the leaves and did a hard cut on the top. And it actually hasn't branched out, it's just grown this leaf. So if in another like 2-3 weeks, if I'm not seeing any more branching leeway activity, I'm gonna do another cut and hope for some branching before the end of this summer so that I can leave it for the winter, hopefully with a couple branches just starting to develop. Over here we have my second more like bonsai style plant. This is actually a plant I bought from Walmart for like $5. It was dying, and it's got some new growth. I actually just moved it to the window today because I wanted to make sure that it had good sunlight, and the growth on top here is feeling a bit small, so just trying to give it some more space. I think this plant actually has two individual like stems in one plant. We'll see what kind of happens. It's kind of a work in progress. I haven't done much with the bonsai style, so I wanted to have these two as different types of plants to work and experiment with. Up next, we have my Dracaena Lemon Lime, or Dracaena Limelight, I don't remember which. But look at this thing, especially compared with my spring update. If I put my hand up, it is almost as tall as my hand from the dirt level. The stem is almost as tall, and the leaves are growing really nicely. I'm doing water and fertilizer, and there's lots of new leaves coming from the top right here. Hopefully I'm getting the camera in there enough. But yeah, really happy with this guy. I really like Dracaenas, I really like trees. I have more trees I will show you later. Let's move on over this way, and we have some jades. These are other ones from that same planting from Walmart that was not looking so hot. They are alive, but not much more than that. I've just been trying to water them, and I put a new leaf that I found on my windowsill that I'm honestly not sure if it's gonna make it. It's not feeling like there's any roots there yet, but we'll leave it in the soil there and hope that it can possibly grow out some cuttings for us. And over here is the second jade tree. Like they kind of using the jade trees as bookends for this windowsill here. But yeah, so here is this guy, couple branches and a lot of new growth coming out of them. I'm not really sure what to think like longer term with that guy, but that is the windowsill done. And we're going to move over. I've got a mess of an apartment, but you know what it is, what it is. This is a cutting from a Dracaena Lisa. This is doing fairly well. I actually just moved it over here because my grow lights didn't seem to be doing a lot for my jades right now with it being summer, so I decided to give him that space. And also kind of hiding down here is a random jade cutting. Don't know if it'll stay there like long term or anything like that, but so there's that guy. Then we have a spider plant over here, which is looking pretty gnarly. He's growing really well, and actually putting off the little stalk with I think it may have had flowers, but now it's getting ready to put off plantlets. So I've never had that with a spider plant. This guy probably needs to be up potted pretty soon. I've been putting it off because I don't really know how to do that, so I will get there. I'll do it. I just might wait towards the end of the summer to do that. So that is the spider plant. Over here we have another cutting of the same Dracaena Lisa, who I just up potted into this 6-inch pot. and trying to grow some healthy ones, because the big one, which I will show you guys in a minute, not that it's looking bad, but it's a little wilty and it's not coming back from being cut back as well as it used to. So that's kind of what's going on with that guy. Here is my ZZ, looking really good. Lots of stems underneath. Probably will be fine to stay in here for the rest of the year. These guys are pretty slow growers, and I just really like them, and I wanted to move him over here so he'd get a little bit more in terms of sunlight. We're gonna cruise down here to the agave I got from New Mexico, which is surprisingly still with us. The leaves at the bottom started to kind of die back, and so we've got this like trunk type structure going here, which is really interesting. And I think it's just gonna get kind of leggy and be a weird little agave kind of tree looking thing until it either puts off pups or doesn't make it. I'm not sure which. Other than that, it seems to be doing well over here. It's not growing as fast as it was before, but seems to be okay. So that is the agave. Next to the agave here, I have this whole bunch of jade cuttings. I get you down over the top here, lots and lots of little cuttings. I'm actually going to be hopefully using these to create some lessons for the Boys and Girls Club, and actually having plants that the kids are going to do lessons on observations with and things like that. And so right now there's lots of different cuttings and lots of different stages from some of my jades that haven't made it, and just trying to make sure that there's good water in here and that they are able to kind of get started, and then I will work with them more probably towards the end of the summer. So that is the jades. Now we're gonna make our way to my messy desk and say hi to the Janet Craig. I'm gonna move over for the squeaky chair. So here's the Janet Craig, lots of new leaves. That real dark green foliage on this dude is doing well, and it's a little leany, but I think it's kind of cool. It looks like a good tree. So up next we have this guy, who is a Dracaena, the dragon tree, the Marginata. And we're actually starting to get a good trunk on this guy. I'm gonna get you right in here. So really starting to actually have a trunk, which is really exciting. I've been pulling leaves every once in a while, but I want it to really stay firm and be able to support itself, which it's doing fairly well at. For the moment, I could actually probably take more leaves and really start that cane form going, but I'm not in a hurry, so I've been doing like every couple weeks taking one so that it has plenty of time to put off new leaves, which it is doing up top here. It's got a pretty healthy crown, so very good for the Janet Craig. We're gonna keep cruising over here, and we have one of my two corn plants, which spends time on the desk with me. And I have started the process of, I'm gonna try to get you in a better spot here, pulling the leaves for the kind of branches here. And so these will eventually become more kind of wooded. Right now they're pretty green and new, but this plant is growing really well. We'll get you up towards the leaves here. Lots of new leaves coming from the inside of the plant here on both branches, which is really cool. We'll get you in this side as well. So lots of new leaves, doing pretty well there. We're gonna move behind me to the second corn plant, which is doing very similarly, kind of in the, better spot, I guess, out of the two of them. Getting pretty tall. We're gonna get underneath here so we can get to the branches here, and they're doing pretty well as well. We've got these rings from where there used to be leaves, and eventually that will kind of become more of a wooded texture. Same with this side over here. So pretty cool for these guys, doing well. I really like these guys. These are some of my favorites because I like trees. Speaking of trees, we have our other Dracaena marginata. This is the big one. And we got a good trunk forming. And actually this guy, if I point down, if we can move these leaves and kind of get in here, you can actually see like pretty good sized roots getting into this pot. This is an 8-inch pot. Another root way down here. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it a little bit. So he's doing pretty well. This is an older soil that I haven't really used, so he seems to be doing pretty well. And same thing, I'm not really taking the leaves off the bottom until they start to, you know, look a little yellow. And so he's got a pretty good crown going here, growing pretty healthily overall. Not that this plant isn't healthy, but here's the Dracaena Lisa. I've started pulling some of these bottom leaves because they were getting yellow. That's just a product of this being an older plant and being in a position that may or may not be 100% like ideal. It's in a big pot, and the whole stem is kind of starting to turn. We do have, it's going to be hard to get back here to show you here. Let me angle around this way. We've got a branch. Where did it run away to here? Here we go. It's way out here. That is kind of randomly popping up way down here, even though the place where I cut it was actually towards the top of the plant. The crown is looking a little bit messy just because there's been some cuttings. So here's a branch that kind of started and then stopped growing, and I'm not really sure what to think there, but this is why I made sure that I had some good healthy cuttings of this plant to make sure that I had other plants in case this other one didn't make it. Up here, we're gonna shoot and pray up here for the ZZ Raven. I like to have this up here because this is a spot that gets good light. It's probably gonna have to get repotted soon because it's getting pretty big, and it's growing very healthily, so that's very good. Some of the stalks that are in the middle, particularly, I don't know if you'll be able to see extraordinarily well, but there's one in here that's thicker than, almost as thick as two of my fingers put together. So pretty cool. Up here we have one repotting of a bird's nest snake plant that I just did. I divided them and repotted them. And then way over here, not much to see. I'll give you a better shot at that probably for the fall update, but the ponytail palm is up there doing pretty well. Actually starting to put off some decent growth and hopefully start to grow the trunk a little bit. That's my hope. They're pretty slow growers as well, but that's kind of the hope in terms of the ponytail palm. And yeah, that's a look at everybody. You guys got to see the whole works. This is the windowsill is probably the most, you know, exciting because you got all the jades and things like that. But that's a summer update for you. Hope you enjoy getting a look at some of the plants, things like that. And we'll see you for another one when it starts to cool down a little bit in the fall, if not before, for some plant-specific content. If you have any of these plants you want me to do a specific guide on or anything, let me know. I'm happy to put together how I've managed to not kill them. Well, thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you again soon. Peace.